right, guys, Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. And just when you thought the updates for Hogwarts Legacy were over and there would be no big news, Avalanche Software came in clutch and dropped by far the biggest update for the game that you guys need to know. Along with that, for those of you that have not yet picked up Hogwarts Legacy on PC, do I have a surprise for you, but more on that in just a bit. Now, I think we can all agree that Hogwarts Legacy was a really good foundation for the future of the series. But with that in mind, where could the team at Avalanche take us for Hogwarts Legacy 2? Well, according to some data mine information from earlier this year, Hogwarts Legacy 2 could be even bigger and better and more in line with what the developers had initially hoped for. Also, real quick, guys, if you want to win a PlayStation 5, I'm giving one away to a lucky subscriber. To enter, it's super easy. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, comment your Twitter handle, and then send me proof via either Twitter or my Discord. We have a ton of Hogwarts Legacy news and updates to go over, so check the video chapters to optimize your viewing experience, and let's get started. So starting things off, if you guys have been waiting to buy Hogwarts Legacy on either PS5, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, PS4, Steam, pretty much anywhere, right now Hogwarts Legacy is on sale for 50% off. Now, this is specifically working in the US. I believe it's working in the UK as well, so the pricing will ultimately depend on the region, I'm guessing, but I would recommend checking out right now. If you go to the PlayStation Store, Hogwarts Legacy on PS5 is $34.99, which is 50% off. The PS4 version, which is typically $60, is $29.99, and that's the same pricing for the Xbox Series X and S, as well as the Xbox One. And the deal is also ongoing on the Warner Brothers Games winter sale, and you can get a bunch of games up to 90% off, I believe. This is not a hashtag ad, by the way. I'm not being paid for this, but Hogwarts Legacy on Steam right now is 50% off. So if you guys have any last minute holiday shopping to do, I believe the offer will end around January 4th. On PlayStation, it's January 6th. So yeah, guys, this is your opportunity to buy Hogwarts Legacy right now if you guys are looking forward to playing it, but you were a little bit skeptical. You weren't really sure if you should buy it or not, or if it would be the type of game that you would enjoy. I personally recommend it, but that's just because I'm a Harry Potter fan, and Hogwarts Legacy was one of my favorite games that have released this year. Oh, also, last note, the Nintendo Switch version is currently $41.99, but that ends on 12/27, so make use of that as soon as possible. Nintendo typically doesn't do big sales like this, and considering the game recently released, a good 30% off is still pretty solid. Now, speaking of the Switch port of Hogwarts Legacy, this is the perfect segue to this next topic. The Switch port of Hogwarts Legacy was the final version of the game to be officially released, and after many delays, it hit store shelves in November. Now, while the graphics were obviously downgraded, it ended up running way better than expected, and it's so far been a pretty big hit. Obviously, it wasn't perfect though, and Avalanche Software took everyone by surprise recently by releasing a gigantic patch. And when I say gigantic, I mean the patch notes were over 3,500 words, which is absolutely insane. Given the fact that Avalanche Software has always been kind of slow to release updates for existing versions of Hogwarts Legacy, it was really surprising to see them push out a patch this big, this quickly for the Switch version of the game. But then again, the studio is full of wizards and witches, so I guess it checks out. Now, this massive patch fixed an almost baffling number of technical issues, including performance fixes, UI touch-ups, slow load times in certain areas of the map, outfits clipping through the character models, and so much more. So once again, hats off to Avalanche Software, because other games and other big communities rarely get patches this big that are this effective. Now, as I've previously mentioned, Hogwarts Legacy is one of the best-selling licensed games of all time, and there's actually a lot more to that feat than you may have thought. Not only was Hogwarts Legacy the best-selling Harry Potter game ever, but it's also potentially going to be the first game in 15 years to be the #1 best-selling game of the entire year that is not made by Rockstar or a part of the Call of Duty franchise. For the last decade and a half, the best-selling game of every single year has either been a Rockstar game or a Call of Duty game, but there's a very good chance that when the final 2023 sales numbers come out, Hogwarts Legacy is at the very top of the charts, and that would be a monumental achievement. This game should be an example to all major publishers out there that when you give your developers the time and space they need to make a great product, and when you respect the source material and you're working on one of the biggest IPs ever, amazing results will follow. So I guess even though Hogwarts Legacy wasn't nominated for a single game award, it still might be the best-selling game of this year, and I think that's the only W that we need. Not to mention the fact that we actually got a Harry Potter game after all this time. So yeah, 2023 for the Harry Potter franchise was a banner year in my opinion. Now, all of that being said, I guess DLC isn't out of the question completely anymore, which I never thought I'd be saying. If you're a regular viewer of my Hogwarts Legacy news updates, then you probably know that I've been just a bit doomer and pessimistic about the potential for a Hogwarts Legacy expansion, simply because it's been so long without any confirmation, and Avalanche Software has been rather open about the fact that they never intended to make one. But I guess neither did Santa Monica Studios, and we just got a free DLC for that game. The massive sales success of Hogwarts Legacy were completely unexpected, and Avalanche Software is a relatively small studio, so they simply weren't prepared prepared to do any major content patches or DLCs, so it's safe to assume at this point that they're now moving on to work on the sequel. But then again, they were able to put together a big patch like this for the Switch version in just a few weeks, so I guess we can't totally rule out that they're going to want to do something bigger for other versions. Up until this point, it's been assumed by most of the community that the reason Avalanche Software was taking so long with their updates was because part of the team was working on the Switch port, while a smaller part of the team was working on other versions. But now that the team is working together and the Switch version is finished, they can focus on a single patch with a bigger workforce, hence why this gigantic Switch patch was finished so quickly. So does that mean that the now unified workforce is able to put together a DLC? I'm not prepared to say 100% yes, but I'm honestly more confident in a DLC now than I ever was before. If Avalanche Software is this committed to patching up the Switch version, surely they have to at least be considering the possibility of doing a full-blown DLC, right? I mean, guys, with the 1-year anniversary of Hogwarts Legacy coming up very soon, and not to mention the fact that the other versions of Hogwarts Legacy have still not gotten the Haunted Hogsmeade content, which that is expected to hit other platforms on the 1-year anniversary of Hogwarts Legacy's release. And like I said, after God of War Ragnarok was able to put a DLC out, I am more convinced that Hogwarts Legacy's team could still do the same thing. But regardless of whether or not we actually end up getting an expansion or a smaller DLC, we know for a fact that Warner Brothers Games is going to want some kind of follow-up to Hogwarts Legacy, be it a direct sequel or just another Harry Potter RPG set in a different time period. And naturally, since I'm in kind of the holiday festive mood, I have a few things on my wish list that I'd like to discuss. For starters, I would absolutely love for the next Hogwarts Legacy game to have some kind of morality system. So much of the Harry Potter universe is based around the characters' moral choices and how they deal with things like temptation and power. As much as I love Hogwarts Legacy, it always kind of bothered me that it's a Harry Potter RPG without a proper morality system, so hopefully Avalanche Software are able to incorporate that into the next game. I'm also kind of hoping for some kind of rework to the Unforgivable Curses. It was pretty cool that you could use them in the first Hogwarts Legacy game, but I can't be the only one who felt they were a tad anticlimactic, right? Not only are the Unforgivable Curses altered from the books in order to fit better with the gameplay, but there also isn't really any consequences for using them, which honestly is a huge departure from the lore in my opinion. In the books and movies, a wizard can be imprisoned for just using one Unforgivable Curse, but in Hogwarts Legacy, you barely get a slap on the wrist if you whip one out. And I think these two things could work together really well in the sequel. Having a morality system would go a long way, but working the Unforgivable Curses into it would make everything way more immersive and make you feel like your actions have consequences, which is what RPGs are all about. And if I had to pick one more thing to add to my sequel wish list, other than the massive things like Triwizard Tournament and hopefully Quidditch, it would be the Patronus Charm. Much like the morality system, it's kind of hard to believe that a Harry Potter game released without any real reference to the Patronus Charm, let alone a working mechanic based around it. Now, in Avalanche's defense, the Patronus would be a really hard thing to incorporate into a video game due to how many possible charms there are, and they would need to be personal to everyone who plays the game, but that's what the sequel is for, right? Make everything bigger and better. Like I said, one of the things that felt like it was missing in Hogwarts Legacy was the legacy part. The way this game was marketed was that this was going to be our legacy at Hogwarts, and having very limited choices that affected the overall game world, that was kind of a disappointment. Furthermore, another thing that I'd like to see for the sequel is more emphasis on Hogwarts Castle. I felt like as soon as I got to the castle, I explored a little bit, and then I went on to do the main story, and practically everything had you leave in the castle grounds to complete the objectives and progress the story. For the next game, I want more stuff to do inside of Hogwarts Castle that are story components. It's a big castle, so there is limited things you could do, but just look at the books and movies. The possibilities truly are endless, especially in the wizarding world. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on the future of Hogwarts Legacy. Do you plan on picking up Hogwarts Legacy now that it's currently 50% off? Let me know down below, guys. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys again soon.